Question number 30 on the reading portion of College Board's Test 4. The most likely purpose of the parenthetical information in line 63 to 64. So the likely purpose, right? Why did the author bother writing that parenthetical phrase there? What was the purpose? What does it serve to do? What does it bring to the table? If we didn't have that in the piece, what do we no longer know? That, I think, is the best way of thinking about purpose sometimes. Get rid of it and ask yourself, what do we no longer know? Whatever we don't know anymore as a result of that lack of information is the purpose or the reason why it was there in the first place. The most likely purpose of the parenthetical information, 63 to 64. The researchers paired the antithrombin gene with a promoter, parentheses, which is a sequence of DNA that controls gene activity. This is defining what a promoter is. That's the purpose. If we got rid of this parenthetical statement, the researchers paired the antithrombin gene with a promoter that is normally active. What's a promoter? That's what we no longer know. So that's what the purpose is going to be. That's a good way of thinking about this. Is to illustrate an abstract concept. We're not illustrating an abstract concept. Even though you might think that a promoter is abstract, it's not. It's just a term that we don't know. And this is not a concept. This is not like an experiment. This is not some model. This is not some diagram for us to understand. It's simply a term that we need to define. So I'm not liking A because it's dragging us off into left field by talking about abstract. It sounds good, illustrate an abstract concept. That's like something that you would say in your English class to get extra credit. Illustrate an abstract concept. What abstract concept? Describe a new hypothesis. It's not a new hypothesis. We're describing just what a promoter is. Clarify a claim. Maybe clarify means like you say something. A claim means a claim is like a belief or a statement, and then you want to clarify it by talking more about it. Maybe. Oh, D, define a term. What's the difference between C and D? This is a very hard passage. They're very tricky on this one. Whoever made this passage, good for you. You deserve a raise. Help the College Board. If you're listening, give them a raise. Clarify a claim versus define a term. A term is just a word, and we're defining the term. We're defining or exactly delineating what the definition of that word is. Clarifying a claim is you say something and you're like, but let me talk a little bit more about this because that might have been confusing. I feel like C and A are very similar to each other because they all want to clarify some abstract, more difficult to understand thing, when in reality, all we want is to define the term. What's the purpose of this parenthetical statement? Well, if we got rid of it, what do we no longer know? We have no idea what a promoter is anymore. It's not like we don't understand this difficult to understand concept. It's not like it's this abstraction that's very hard to imagine. It's defining a term. What's the promoter? It's a sequence of DNA that controls gene activity. The answer number 30 is going to be D.